love sitting in the car in a small downtown, drinking coffee and just watching the world wake up. That's literally like one of my favorite things to do. Free advertising. There it is. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. You know, it's funny, when I was younger, like in college, going to the university, I went to UWF, University of West Florida, Pensacola. And you know, not once did I go downtown. I don't even know what the downtown looks like. I love downtowns now. The older I got, I just started discovering these small little coffee shops. Yeah, I know, not today. I went to McDonald's. But bakeries, coffee shops, and things like that are downtown. Little family-owned businesses. And wow, I was hooked, immediately. But, I didn't go to downtown at all when I lived in Pensacola. I don't even know what it looked like. I can't imagine all the coffee shops and little diners and cafes that were there at the time that I just missed out on. I went to malls, big malls and shopping centers and things like that. I don't know why I didn't think about downtown. I love watching people. People, they're so interesting. Sometimes you look at a person and you just wonder, I wonder what they do for a living, or what did they do, or we have a lot of tourists in this town, so sometimes you wonder where they're from, what they do. Sometimes you see somebody that looks famous. Sometimes you actually do see someone who is famous. One time I was actually sitting on the outside of a coffee shop at a table, and at the time I was with my mother, and this older gentleman walked by and had a very distinctive look. And I don't remember if it was Peter or Paul, not of the Bible, but of Peter, Paul, and Mary, because it looked just like one of the two. And I told my mom, let's just say it's Paul. I was like, Mom, is that Paul Starkey? I think that's his name. Is that Paul Starkey? She was like, I don't know. Who's Paul Starkey? I said, Peter, Paul, and Mary. She said, well, I've heard of them. But anyway, it was a dead ringer. And then come to find out, he was in town. They were in town, Peter, Paul, and Mary, with the concert, giving a concert. It was either that night or the next night. So it was literally him. It was just cool, You have these little sightings. I hope this guy doesn't ram me. He's leaving in the back, the car behind me. I've been bumped before, sitting downtown in the car, and just somebody bumps your bumper. It's pretty busy downtown today, Yeah, I played part of a season at University of West Florida. I played I don't even remember. It's been a while. If they divided it into a fall season and a spring season, I don't remember. But I played one whole like the fall season. I don't remember much about it, honestly. I guess I just kind of erased that part of my life out of my memory. I've had a lot of other data go into my brain, and that part of my life is just kind of not there anymore. But I played baseball and I pitched. I was a left-handed pitcher, and I threw 90 miles an hour, 90, 91 miles an hour. Which at the time was kind of fast, but now it's just kind of like a change-up because these kids coming up are throwing routinely 98, 99, 100, 100 plus. So like 90, 91 is like a change-up now. Literally, it's crazy. But I was scouted. I was scouted by the Reds, the Pirates, and the Braves. This was actually before West Florida. It was at a community college. My catcher, my teammate, actually worked at a baseball, like a school where athletes went there to learn more about the game and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, he worked there, and he worked for some ex-Major League Baseball players. Anyway, he's the one that told me. He said, yeah, you're being scouted by 3 teams. They're following you around, And I always thought that was cool. But, unfortunately, my head wasn't on right, and, I ended up quitting. Just walking off one day, and I remember my coach, when I quit, I went to turn in my uniform at his house, and he didn't like it. He was pretty mad that I was quitting because, I was a starting pitcher, left-handed, but I just didn't have my head screwed on. I was so young. If you're an athlete and you're serious about, trying to give it a shot to make it into the big time, you got to get your head on right. Your mental game is as important as your physical game, trust me. And I didn't have my mental game going. My physical game was fine, my mental game was not going, like it should. So get your head screwed on right, man, I'm serious. But anyway, I remember him being very vicious toward me. He was like, let me tell you one thing, son. You turn in your uniform, you quit, you walk away from here, and you will never, ever play baseball again. I said, well, I'm going to go actually try to walk on the University of West Florida next year. He said, there's no way. Very vitriol, baby. He's like, there's no way you'll make a team, a 4-year college as a walk-on. And I said, I'm still going to do it. And I did. I went to the college as a walk-on, and not only did I make the team, it was kind of a crazy situation. To be honest, I was very tired of pitching because I was a really good hitter. I always hit first or second in the lineup. I got a lot of hits. I was quick, and I started developing power where I could hit home runs and everything. And once you get to college and they designate you as a pitcher, that's really all you do. You pitch. Very few exceptions. So I was only playing like once every 4 games, and I didn't like it. I kind of like lost interest in it because I wanted to play every day. So anyway, long story short, I went to University of West Florida as a walk-on, but I went as a outfielder. And one day, as fate would have it, all the way up in Pensacola, and I was from way further down in, toward the southern part of Florida. Lo and behold, there was a guy on the team that was on my American Legion team, all the way up in Pensacola. So lo and behold, this guy went up to the coach one day and said, I don't know what he's doing, but he's a really good pitcher. Coach came to me. I heard you're a pitcher. I said, yeah, well, okay. Yeah, I have pitched the That's not what I heard, he said. He said, I heard you were a really good pitcher. I'm a pitcher. Yeah, I can pitch. He said, I'm going to be honest with you. He said, we have 3 outfielders that are going to be our starters this year. He said, you're good, but you're not going to be a starter. You're going to be sitting on the bench because they're seniors and they're going to get seniority over you. They're going to play. You're not. Let me see you pitch. So I pitched batting practice. And again, long story short, but he told me, he said, you're one of my starters. You're going to make the team and you're going to be one of my starters. And I was floored. I mean, number one, that I walked on, beat the odds. I was going to make the team. I was going to be a starter as a pitcher, which I didn't even go up there to play, that position. I went up there to try to be an outfielder. So anyway, I got kind of depressed. And I had a short period of drinking. Yeah, because I was depressed. And again, I walked off. It was spurred by the first inning. I went out there to pitch in a game. And this was like regular season, I believe. Anyway, I struck out the first batter. Boom, struck him out. But I felt a twang in my elbow, and it really hurt really bad. And I motioned for the coach to come out, and I said, I just hurt my arm. I have to come out. And that kind of furthered and deepened my depression, and I just quit. That was it. That was the last time I played baseball. And anyway, that's, like I say, that time of my life was, I don't know if it's because it was such a disappointment that I've kind of maybe erased it out of my mind, a lot of it. Here's a whole group of kids, young, it looks like maybe 14 or 15-year-old boys walking in a group. I was never a group person. I was more of a solo person. I like to be pretty much on my own. There goes a fire truck, if you didn't know. Yeah, I would ride around Pensacola for hours by myself with a snack, going to convenience stores, like all these different convenience stores, buying baseball cards. Yeah, baseball cards, looking for certain cards like rookie cards and things like that. But then fast forward a few years, and you know how life sometimes just takes you in unknown directions. I opened up a small business in my hometown, and that's where I met my wife. She came in as a customer, and about the third time maybe she came in, I asked her out on a date. We went to a Mexican restaurant that was just a few doors down and had lunch. And I think from that day until now, I don't think a single day has gone by that we haven't seen each other. Even when we were dating, we saw each other every day. And yeah, I don't think there's been a day that I haven't seen her. We've been together. We have 2 beautiful boys. Today is actually Friday, and we're going to a concert tonight. We're going to go see Big Daddy Weave. He's a Christian artist. Back when I devoted my life to Jesus a few years ago, the song Redeemed was really big at that time. So tonight I get to see him perform it live in person, and I'm very excited about that. and you're really close to people. Like you could reach out and like, almost touch them as they go by. I'm going to make these videos like this pretty much with no idea. I think they're trying to back up behind me, park behind me. Anyway, I'm going to be making these videos like this, trying to do one continuous take. I'm only editing when like just the camera shut off a time or two prior to this footage here. I guess I have it set on so many minutes or whatever. So I'm going to have to watch that. See if there's another setting. I don't want these to be too long, 20, 30 minutes at the most. But it's just kind of like therapeutic for me to just talk about it. Like I said, I love watching people. The roads are very narrow here. I know that like my mirror on my van is kind of like out a little ways, like more so than usual on a vehicle. And sometimes I think it's going to get knocked off because that's happened downtown to many people. They've had their mirrors knocked off. It's a beautiful day. I look forward to the drive today. It's like a 2.5 hour drive, I believe. And I'm really looking forward to that. I love driving, places like that, just going someplace different. I haven't been to Charlotte in a while. It's been a couple of years, I guess. But there's some towns on the outlying Charlotte, on the outer perimeter of Charlotte that we want to visit. Just small towns. And we got this little camper van. It's a little Hightop. And we like going places and just sleeping in here. And I've got a little propane stove back there, and we have a cooler and things like that. And we all love it. I think I like it more than anybody else because I'd live in my van. If it was just me, I'd probably go all around the country in my van. That's just the way I am. I'm very adventurous. The rest of my family, my wife and 2 boys, if they go once every 3 months, they're totally happy. That's not enough for me.